Georgina Altman is joining me today on Primetime Local News. Georgina with Lakeland College, the Vice President of External Relations and Infrastructure. Georgina, thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure, Stacey.
Let's talk about some exciting news at Lakeland College this week. The Alberta Government giving you $16 million in funding. Can you tell me what the majority of that is going towards, Georgina?
Yeah, I sure can. It's actually to help us redo and revitalize one of our oldest buildings on campus, the Bentley Building on our Vermilion campus. It was opened in 1967, and this will be the first significant kind of upgrade to that building since then. So it's well overdue and really exciting for our campus and the college as a whole, and the students who live in that building.
So it will be an entire overhaul. Will the building look different, even on the exterior?
It will. So it'll be a complete overhaul. So we like other regenerations, we're actually taking part of the building down to replace it because it just isn't configured the way it needs to be to meet current learning models and to carry us forward another 30 years. So when we do a renovation and a reconstruction of this kind, it's really thinking about what we need to do to create a modern learning environment now, and that will be flexible enough for us to move forward because everything changes so quickly. We just can't predict how it will all be. So we just do the best we can.
So what is Bentley Hall for those who don't know or who might not be familiar with Lakeland College?
Sure. It's one of our academic buildings. So it's a building full of classrooms. It houses primarily our early learning students as well as our interior design program. And actually it's a classroom space for almost all of our programs on campus. So it will now create, we've got some award-winning state-of-the-art interior design programs. We'll actually be able to refresh those areas. We're excited about that, as well as our play program. So Human Services has over 500 students in that program every year, and they utilize, again, state-of-the-art learning for early childhood, our mid-year students, all those kind of things. And it really will give them a chance to refresh that and have the learning environments that our students are looking for and what they're going to experience when they go into industry as well.
So the bulk of the money goes towards that, Georgina. There's still just under 3 million left for other projects. So
Yeah.
tell me where that money will be used.
Yeah, so that actually, those are projects that are underway. We heard about that a little while ago, that piece of the funding. And so therefore, what I would call major maintenance projects. So it's a boiler system on the Lloydminster campus to replace the entire boiler piece. And the other was some HVAC systems that we had going on in Vermilion. So those are the kind of projects we have in the books, and they're exceptional. Like they're well over $1 million each. And so to have that and save up for those kind of funds, we were really appreciative of that influx of money to help us do those things, because making sure we have heat in our buildings and lights on are as important as many other features are. Not as fun to talk about, but they they make sure we can keep the doors open.
So do you have to apply for this funding, Georgina, or does the Alberta government just take a look every year and kind of allocate what they think is needed to each college?
Yeah, so there's a whole process around that, and so we ensure that we have good projects in hand, and so we like to have what I call shelf ready or shovel ready projects that are scoped to a certain phase that we know that if we were successful, we could get to a detailed design stage and have architects take it the next steps for us, and that's what we do. So same with major maintenance as well as with these major construction projects. We're sure to have those planned. We're letting the government know what those are so that when they start to allocate those pockets of money and having their budget conversations, we're ready for them and we've got good priorities and keeping them in the loop on that kind of thing.
So are there any more big projects coming up that you can tell us about at this point, or is this going to be what's on the table for a while?
Yeah, you know what? This will be what's on the table for a while. We are doing some planning and we're just entering some master planning projects for both campuses, and that's going to start this fall still. And that's like really assessing all of our buildings, all of our structures, what our academic plans are going forward for the next 20 years, and making sure that we've got, all those plans in place so that we can be ready for this kind of funding. And again, work with government and work with other partners to keep everything moving forward. So it's a big project that I'm excited to be working on, and that will really set us up for the future.
Well, Georgina, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Stacey.